is the church of the town. It's like the main church cathedral.
What's up, you guys? So this video today I know is a little bit controversial because I have Christian friends who talk about Jesus sometimes and they get a lot of flack for it. So imagine a Jewish person talking about Jesus, how much flack that is gonna get. But I thought it's an interesting video topic because I always get people asking me, as someone who grew up Orthodox Jewish, and now I'm not Orthodox, and so now I can be more open about things, right? So I always get people asking me, what do Orthodox Jews think about Jesus? The reality is I don't know about your community or where you grew up or what Jewish day school you went to or Orthodox Jewish day school or whatever. But from my perspective, as someone that went through the Orthodox Jewish school system, I didn't learn about Jesus. I didn't learn about Jesus. So that's my answer. And I know the expected answer is, oh, we learned that Jesus was a terrible man and he was like this and like that and he was doing this and and I'm sure some people have had that experience, but personally I just didn't learn about Jesus. I mean, it's kind of like, what do you think about UFOs? I mean, it's like some people think UFOs existed, some people think UFOs didn't exist, don't exist, It's kind of like a thing that, a person that may or may not have existed, that may or may not have walked on water, or may or may not have, I don't know what else Jesus would have done, but we just didn't learn about Jesus. It wasn't like, oh, Jesus was a bad man, he was a Rasha, he was terrible. I didn't learn about that. I just didn't learn about Jesus. So, I know people are always curious and excited about what the Jews think about Jesus, and I am sure other people will tell you different things, but personally in my education system, we just, it was akin to asking, when you ask me what I think about Jesus, it's akin to asking someone what they think about aliens. It's like, okay, aliens might exist, they might not exist, but that's not something that we talk about really. We don't know about aliens so much. I have this idea in my head, okay, maybe, Jesus was a real dude. Maybe he was a nice guy. Maybe he was off the derech like me. Maybe he was an off the derech guy that was in the religious community and he was kind of excommunicated a little bit, or maybe he was in the religious community and he wanted to do things his own way and he didn't expect to be idolized, or maybe he wasn't even a real guy because he was born from God, and so he wasn't real, and so he was just a figment of people's imagination. Who knows, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of different conflicting biblical texts, even within Judaism, that everything is kind of up for debate. All these different history books seem to say different things. Everybody wants to paint history in the light that they wanted it to be. And at the end of the day, it's really hard to know what's real. And that's why, I don't want to call myself an atheist ever. I don't want to call myself, I don't know what to call myself religiously or ideologically, because then it limits me from being able to explore. But of course, there's always different people saying different things. Some people will say Jesus was a prophet and he was studying Kabbalah and he was, or some people will even go as far as to say Jesus could have been a possible Messiah, because the Jews are always waiting for the Messiah. And in Judaism, there's a belief that every generation has a possible Messiah, somebody that has the potential to be a Messiah. And if the Jews are being good or bad, that is going to determine whether God decides to make that person a Messiah and take the Jews out of diaspora. But it's never fully agreed upon. The one thing that I can fully guarantee you that Jews think about Jesus is that they don't think of Jesus as the Son of God. So that's just the one thing that, the one thing that all Jews can agree upon is that they don't think of that Jesus was actually the Messiah. Because if they did actually think that, then they wouldn't be Jewish. They would be Christian, or they would be Messianic Jewish. But the one underlying commonality between all Jews is that they're still keeping to the tradition of Judaism, the Old Testament, and they haven't adopted all these new things. So that's the one thing that makes Jews different from Christians. So a lot of times people will say like, oh, but there's Messianic Jews and there's Jews for Jesus. I don't think there's such a thing as a Messianic Jew or Jews for Jesus, other than, yeah, their ethnicity is Jewish, so they're off the derech Jews that are practicing Christianity. So they're basically like Christian Jews, like they're ethnically Jewish, but they're ideologically Christian. So that's the only reason why they're called Jewish. But Judaism as a faith does not accept Jesus as a Messiah. So just to make it clear for people. And that's fine. Doesn't mean that everybody has to be in war or, hating each other. It just means that it's a different belief system. To me, Immaculate Conception is like telling me that it's absurd to me. Like the idea that a woman's husband would go out of town and she gets pregnant and then she tells people that is the Son of God. To me, that sounds absurd. But the same way that so many things in religious ideology sound absurd. That doesn't mean that I hate you. It doesn't mean that I hate you for believing those things. And it doesn't mean that I necessarily am all-knowing. You know what I mean? That I know everything that there is in the world. It just means that to me, with my logic, it sounds very, very much like somebody was making things up. So hopefully I didn't piss off too many people. But I know I'm probably sounding like an atheist, but the difference between me and an atheist is that I don't know, and I'm constantly learning and exploring. But the more I learn and explore, the more I realize that most religions, faiths, and ideologies are best to be used as history books and enlightening instruction guides that have a lot of overlapping ideas and beliefs that are often very helpful, very healthy, and things you should take out using your common sense and nuance. Take out the good parts, but you should never trust and full-blown follow one faith or ideology completely straight off the bat, because you're gonna find all sorts of inconsistencies with everybody, and with Christianity, that is something that, as someone who's off the derech and has been learning a lot about Christianity since I left the Orthodox Jewish community, I will say that I have heard some of the most absurd sounding things that really defy all logic. And I still want to learn more, because the thing I love about Christianity is that a lot of the people I know that follow it are very, very good people, and people that I would trust with my life, and I think they're honest and they have integrity. And so maybe I would want to follow the principles of Christianity and Judaism. Maybe I would want to follow the ideas and lifestyle and practice without actually believing some of the same exact things that the people who follow the doctrine believe. But that doesn't mean that I hate them. It doesn't mean that I think that they're stupid. Because if the results are positive, if you're living a good life, you're wealthy, you're having kids, you're having sustenance, like you're having blessings in your life, then whatever you're doing is working. So who am I to tell you that the source of it is stupid? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, that's all I want for myself and for you guys, is to constantly improve your lives, live a good life, and follow what you think is going to give you that positive outcome. But anyway, hope that was an enlightening video, and see you guys in the next one.
Holy shit! How pretty is this place? This isn't like, you know, this isn't Paris. This isn't Barcelona. This is a random town in Colombia. This is just not a brand name. But you know what? People here are really enjoying themselves. And they're just flying kites. And there's a little dog. Hi. Just minding his own business. Oh my god, that's a cool dog. What do you say? Do you want us to walk through the square?
Yes, I do.
All right.
After I'm done filming kites.
This is Andrew taking a very intense video of a kite.